whichever airline I was flying, she said, "Oh, we need your onward ticket," and I was just like, I said, "You know what? I have it here somewhere," and I was like, "Ooh, let me go buy a ticket." I think that's when I was in Ecuador. And so I ended up buying an actual ticket because I knew I was going to stay around South America. But normally I use onwardticket.com, and that gets me going. I use Expedia. If you book on American, which is difficult if you're abroad because American doesn't fly everywhere, but Qatar is a 24-hour free cancellation site as well. So those work.
Okay. Yep, there you have it, ladies. Do not get caught, slipping or tripping. And then, is there a fee for that site, Ali? Isn't there a fee?
Yeah, for Onward Ticket, the nice thing about it is you have a couple of options. You can book a 24 to 48 hour ticket, which is $16.99, or you can book a multi-stop. So say you're bopping around places, you can get one that typically we try to get one that takes us out of a particular country back home or something like that. It's good for 2 weeks. That one's about, I think, $33, $36, something like that. And it's literally good. It's a real valid ticket on Onward site that you can use and show the airlines when you check in for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Olienka says, what is an Onward ticket? I think you answered your own question. Yep, it's a ticket. If you're entering a country, sometimes they want to know when you're going to be leaving. They don't want anybody getting lost. They don't want anybody violating their visa rules. And so they may ask you for an onward ticket, meaning either you're returning home or you're going to another country from there. And so if you hear someone say, I need your onward ticket, that's what they're referring to. And if you're going to do that online visa, Ali, I haven't done it in a while. The last time I did it was maybe a year ago. And I think I paid like $25. Do you know what? And y'all listen to this, say this too. Some of this stuff changes. We are trying to give you insight and guidance. It is always good to go directly to the source. So that's why we're providing the websites. But a year ago when I did it, Ali, I think I know it was less than $50. That I know for a fact.
For Vietnam?
Yeah, for Vietnam. Was it when you went online? How much was it?
It was only $25 to get the 90-day or the multi-entry if they offer that. I think it's $50. So you can still get the 25 single entry or the $50 multi-entry 90-day.
Okay. So you all, it's not expensive, but there is a fee. That visa is not free. Many of them you can get free visa on arrival, but this is not one of them. And Marilyn has so graciously linked Ali's Vietnam playlist. So when you go to Ali's YouTube page, you will see she has a lot of content on Vietnam, her time when she was there. So check out her playlist, her Vietnam playlist.
Yes, thank you, Marilyn.
Hey, no, before you go, I think we greeted everybody. I don't know if anybody else slid in here, but if you are new, please don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. I see we have 27 viewers. Make sure that you hit that like button and please go over and check out Ali's YouTube channel. All right. So I went ahead and put up the website for your Bali visa. So that link is also in the description box. And when you go to Bali, there are multiple kinds of visas that you can apply for. But most of us, if we're traveling, you're going to do a visa on arrival. And I want to make sure, or a tourist visa. I was just in Bali within, I think, 6 months ago. And again, I didn't have to do anything online ahead of time. When you arrive, you present your passport. They may ask you for your ticket. And I paid, I want to say it was $35, and you get a visa stamp in your passport, in your passbook, your passport passbook. They put a stamp in there, and you can stay for 30 days for sure. But there are multiple ways and there are multiple visas, but that was the one that I got. I paid 35 USD. I'm pretty sure I did because I didn't have any I forgot what their money is, but I didn't have that. One time I also paid with my card. So if you have your credit card, debit card, or cash, they take either one of those and you just follow the crowd. I'm telling you, it's really not that complicated. When you get off the plane, everybody is coming through. Most tourists, most visitors are all headed in the same direction. You just follow the herd. And when you get to the counter, present your documentation. They may ask you a few questions like where you're staying. So have that information as well. I usually take a picture of my accommodations and keep it on my phone. So if I have to fill that out, sometimes there's a form and they'll ask you for the address of the place where you're staying. And so you always want to have that information. I think the more you travel and the more, it becomes routine. You already know. Make sure that you have that stuff, a picture of it. I like to take a picture because I may not have internet. Internet could be. So I take a picture of everything. I take a picture of my passport, where I'm staying, the accommodations. I take a picture of the map in case I have to show it to the driver. It's like, listen, sir, I ain't got no internet, but this is where we going. And so make sure you do those kinds of things as a backup.
Yeah.
Ali, do you travel with a Wi-Fi hotspot?
So no, but I just updated my phone and now I have 2 eSIM slots, whereas my phones didn't have eSIM. So that means that I can, and I know we're not talking about that today, but one of my biggest one of my biggest things is to get your SIM card before you leave the airport, and or make sure you sign up for your eSIM. So because I like you, like I like to have at least know my route once I get to the airport, what it's going to take to get where I'm going. If I'm doing Uber, I want to make sure that I can, call an Uber and be online while I'm in the Uber, make sure they're taking me the right direction, no stranger danger, all of that kind of stuff. And so, so I usually try to get everything set up before I walk out of the airport. If that's not possible, I pray.
Yep. And Ali, I don't know about you, but this is another thing, and we're trying to help you travel safely, travel smoothly, and travel with ease, hon. And so after you get past customs and all the things that you have to do, I like to make sure that my ground transportation is already secured. I'm not a fan of the unmetered taxi, because for me, I'm not about to start bartering with you, sir. I don't even know what the currency is. So I will do one or two things. I am going to pre-book my ground transportation through booking.com. Usually before I even hit the ground, I already know who's coming to pick me up. They have sent me a picture. I want a picture of the car, all of this stuff. And I'm forwarding it all to my brother because I want to be safe. If an airport I'm okay with ride share because again, you can forward your location. So those are some things that I do to stay safe. What I rarely do, and I'm not going to say rarely, what I never do is get to a place I've never been before and hail a taxi. That doesn't feel safe for me. I could be a little paranoid, but those are just some things that you might want to consider. Not only you want to take care of all of your visa stuff, but the next most logical thing is to take care of your ground transportation because you don't want to be stressed. You've planned. You want to hit the ground running and you want to hit it feeling calm and confident and knowing that you're safe and you're okay. Ali, how do you handle your ground transport?
Girl, it depends on where I end up. So,
I've been doing this a while, y'all. Ali, you'll take a tuk-tuk.
Listen, so I just traveled with my grandson for 2 months and I was trying to do things on the up and up. We actually had, when we landed in Oaxaca, I believe, we had booking.com, which is one that I do recommend to people, especially in Mexico. We had it for our pickup in Oaxaca, and the night before it was canceled. And I was like, yeah, because they don't have Uber or anything. And I was like, you know what? We'll figure it out when we get to the airport. Got to the airport and they have a taxi service. So what I will say to you guys, and this is something I did when I was in Senegal and I landed at like 3 a.m. in the morning. My host who hired my driver, he went home to his wife. He can't be up from 11 when I was supposed to land till 3 a.m., right? So we had to figure something else out. And one of the things, the advice that I'll give you for safety is if you do have some sort of cancellation or something like that, most airports, have an actual taxi counter. They have a real taxi counter that lets you pay with credit card. I did it when I landed in Cali, Colombia, and it was like 12 or 1 a.m. in the morning. Typically, I try not to land places that late. That's usually my safety measure. But when it happens, it happens. And so I just go and pay for an actual taxi. It may be more, it may be on average. This was $12. So I didn't think it was a problem. We was in that taxi for 3 hours because he couldn't find where we was going. Anyway, so then you have a legitimate taxi service. You have an actual receipt. You have somebody that's on dispatch talking to them. You have a taxi number, all of that. So that's another option you can use if you can't get a booking.com or an Uber. I typically don't like to hail anything either, unless I'm very familiar with the place. Like I would do it in Da Nang, Vietnam, because it's 2 minutes from the airport to the main strip. So it's going to cost you a whole 10 bidong. So.
Yep. So there's all kind of things that you can do to protect yourself, but be mindful. I think having it prearranged, or like Ali said, if it's a place that you're familiar with and you know the lay of the land, y'all know what to do. Keep your head on a swivel. Laura says, I heard getting an unlocked dual SIM card cell phone is great too. You can talk with people from home and change the other SIM card when you change countries. I travel with 2 phones. My main phone, my US phone, as I refer to it, has a dual SIM. Sometimes when I get to the new country, I'll put in the SIM. But because I travel with 2 phones, sometimes I'll have like now I have a Thailand phone. It has the Thai SIM in it. And then I keep my other phone separate, my US phone separate for if I have to conduct business, because that could be costly. My Thai phone is $9 a month. So when I go to Malaysia, I snatch that SIM card out. They say, tell me you're a traveler without telling me you're a traveler. If you look in the back of my phone, it's like 25 different SIM cards. Especially if it's someplace you're going to be traveling to, like if you're exploring a region and you know you're going to be going back to Vietnam, hold on to your SIM card. There's no sense in buying a new one if you know you're going to go back, 3 weeks, 6 weeks later or next month. So those are some tips, ladies, to make it a little easier for you. I'm going to take one more question. Miss Nichelle says, are there apps that either of you like to book ground transportation like Klook? I saw a video of someone who used that in Bangkok. I like any of those. I like Klook, Booking.com. And then, of course, I love a good rideshare app. And if you're in Southeast Asia, you're going to use Grab, GoJet, InDriver. What else, Ali? What else is here?
Uber is there too, but I wouldn't recommend Uber because it's the most costly one. But I love InDriver because you set your price on InDriver. They use Cabify in like Spain and Portugal, and Ola and Didi. Didi is another one that is used often. I'm fading out.
Didi. I forgot about Didi. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've heard about Klook too, and I was going to use Klook when I was in Korea. But and Klook actually offers great eSIM subscriptions that you can sign up for before you land in a country.
If y'all have any further questions about visa and visa requirements, please, I beg of you, go to the site directly, because I know in some countries things change very quickly. And so what might be true today, if you're looking to travel 2 months from now or 8 weeks from now, things may have changed. So we've given you the website, you know where to go. And just to wrap up that thing with Bali, you can get a tourist visa, a visa on arrival. They've got a social cultural visa. It's called a B211. They've got a KITAS if you're going to stay there temporarily. And they even started a new digital nomad visa. So since we are not visa experts, I'm just going to lead you to where you can go find the information. But visa on arrival for most of us is what we'll get as tourists. If you're not going to be there for longer than 30 days, cost you $35, you're in and out. All right, folks. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the cost of living. And Ali is Vietnam is her country. By far, it is the most affordable in all of Southeast Asia. Ali, when was the last time you were in Vietnam? And I'll pull that Numbio up.
Yeah, I was in Vietnam in from February, end of January through July of 2023. So a year and a half ago.
Okay, so recently, so this all information is pretty relevant. Ali is going to be talking about Da Nang or Da Nang. We had a discussion about that. Is it potato? Da Nang, Da Nang. So Ali will give you the information. I pulled Numbio up so that you could see the two, and I'll just read this really quickly. Rental prices in Da Nang are 61% lower than Ubud, and I picked Ubud for Bali because that's where most people go. Most people go to Ubud. They might go to Seminyak, Canggu, but most of us go land at the airport in Denpasar. We go straight to Ubud. Restaurants in Da Nang are 12% lower than in Ubud, and grocery prices are 17% lower than in Ubud. So by far, Vietnam is the most cost effective. Was that your experience, Ali?
Listen, yes, and I typically use Numbio as well as World Data. World Data doesn't break it down like Numbio like this, but World Data gives you more kind of overall statistics on quality of life and criminality and different things like that. But when I was in Vietnam, price-wise, what I did compare and look at is I compared it to the US, because a lot of people, when they're deciding to travel or where to go, they're in the States and they're always like, well, it's cheaper than the cost of living wherever they are. And that may or may not be true, because sometimes if you're in a really inexpensive place, it's more expensive to travel, right? But for the most part, we find that it is always going to be cheaper to travel than it is to sit still. So I found that it was 58% less, just overall 58% less than your average city in the United States. And that's housing, groceries, and eating out. In Vietnam, it's the one place that I found that it's cheaper to eat out than it is to buy your food at the grocery store.
Absolutely. And good food too.
Listen, and they have everything, because a lot of people ask, well, what's the cuisine? Because you think Asian noodles, rice and stuff. They have everything. Let me tell you guys, I am plant-based, and yes, you're going to spend a little bit more if you're going to plant-based restaurants and things, because they have those specific types of recipes, and they want to make everything gourmet. But there are a ton of restaurants that I've frequented that cater to the vegetarian, vegan palate. So I mean, they had everything, you guys. Anything, pizza, the Vietnamese. They had Thai places. Sondra, you was there because I saw you was right in the hood where I was too.
I love Vietnam. I'm sorry, Vietnam is like one of my favorite countries. I'm telling you, because it's so varied. And you can seriously have good meals. I'm talking about pho, vegetables. It doesn't always have to be rice and noodles. I mean, fresh meat, seafood. What? For pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. And that's every day. That's not like, it's not seasonal. Yeah. Vietnam, if you're trying to stretch your travel dollars, Vietnam, hands down.
Like right now, you guys, if you go and look on Airbnb, and Airbnb is always our benchmark for finding housing for a month. And then, once you see what that average price, and this is kind of a little trick, you see what that average price is for a month, you go and you book for 1 day to 5 days, and then you work it out with the people who own the place, and you get a better deal. But if you go look at Vietnam right now, in Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi are a little bit more expensive than Da Nang is. But if you base it in Da Nang, right now you can get we're going to talk a little bit more, I think, later about like the cost of living and what you can get for, I'm trying to find my face, what you can get for a certain amount of money. But you can get a very nice apartment with, some of the bells and whistles like swimming pools and gyms and things like that for under $600 a month with utilities and such included. And your water bill, if we're going to talk about cost of living, your water bill is on average, hold on, I wrote it down. The water bill on average is 100,000 Vietnamese dong. Y'all, that's $4.
Yep. Vietnam is the place to go if you are budget conscious. If you're looking to stay someplace long term too. Talk about stretching your travel dollar.
Yes.
Vietnam is it. I put that stuff on Numbeo too.
Yeah.
I put it up.
So you were, Sondra, you were in Bali. So I was in Bali in 2017 and 2019. So you have been more recently than me. How is it there? Because I heard like over the years, especially after COVID, Bali was one of those that kind of, the price influx was crazy.
Yep. Bali used to be that girl, but now it's more on par with, I would say it's midway. I put a list of Southeast Asian countries in the description box from least expensive to most expensive. And the least expensive is by far Vietnam, then Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and then Bali. Bali has gotten up there because of I want to even say over tourism, because Bali is situated, it is like, you know how the Bahamas is to the US is easily accessible. That's how it is for people in Australia. So you will see a lot of Australians in Bali. And sometimes, you know, the young folks, they can be rowdy. So you got to pick your spot in Bali. I like Ubud because it's more centered around health, wellness, yoga, granola, you know, all the humdingy-dingy stuff. But if you head to some of those beaches, you're going to run into, you know, younger people partying. And a lot of them are from Australia because of the proximity. But yeah, Bali is fifth from the top of least expensive. Bali is right in between, I would say, Thailand and Malaysia. So it's not, you know, it used to be you could go and stretch your travel dollars, and it's still, like you said, it's cheaper than the US, but she is not, if you're being budget conscious and you really want to get the most bang for your buck, honey, head straight to Vietnam. I'm telling you.
And take a little short trip over to Bali from Vietnam, because that's the best way and the cheapest way to get those flights in too. Sondra knows she done made her way around.
Yep. Ali, Anita wants to know, how long in advance do we need to get that visa in for Vietnam? Like if you're going online, what time frame would you give them?
So I would always say only count business days, even though you will get information on the weekend. Count business days and try to do it 10 days before, at least 10 days before your flight, before you travel. Typically, every time I had to get a new visa, I got mine in literally 24 hours, but they say on their site, on the site, I believe Maryland and Sondra put on there, that is the official government site link as well, y'all. So you're safe there. They say about 48 to 72 hours, but just give yourself a little, you know, what's that non-angst, that's stress-free, comfort, and try to do it at least 10 business days before your flight is supposed to depart.
Absolutely. I think, Ali, you might have talked me off the ledge, because the first time I did it, I missed mine because there was a holiday. So you want to be aware of all of those things. I waited till too late. I was supposed to start my Southeast Asian travel in Vietnam. I wound up going to Bali because you get a visa on arrival, because I waited too late to apply for my Vietnam visa. It came the day I was supposed to travel, and I was like, no, ma'am, we will not be playing those kind of games. And so don't get caught like I got caught. I'm with Ali. Give yourself 10, because you get to name your date of entry. And so it's 30 days from that date. So you can do it well in advance. And that would be my advice. And be aware of any national holidays, because the office will be closed. Yeah. Not only will the office be closed, but they won't even respond on the website. So
listen. They take that work-life balance serious. And you know what, Sondra, you actually just said something that I forgot to mention when I talked about the Vietnam visa, the dates. you put the dates that you're going to arrive, and then they calculate out 30 days or 90 days. If you do not arrive, but so let's say you're going to arrive on October 30th and something happens and you don't go till November 15th, your clock doesn't start on November 15th. It starts on October 30th. So your 30 days are from that piece of visa paper. That's your lifeline. So you can't just arbitrarily say, well, I'm going to stay 15 days after the 15 days on the visa. You can't do that. It's either better to reapply and get a new one, or shorten your time, bounce out, come back, something of that nature. So I'm glad you actually said that, Sondra.
Well, I made all the mistakes. Listen, Ali is the OG. Ali, and I followed Ali. I promise you all, I got all of this information my first time out. I was following Ali. Ali has been such a resource for me. Even when I got to Thailand, she was here and helped me get acclimated here in Chiang Mai as well. So when I tell y'all who you need to go see, I'm telling you who you need to go see. So make sure you get over there, hit her Facebook page up, Instagram, and her YouTube channel. Michelle wants to know, are you doing Air Asia for short travel in Southeast Asia? I did. I used them all. I did Scout. And I don't even, like in the US, I have the nerve in the US to be like a airport and a travel snob. Like, I will not fly Spirit. I'm sorry, y'all. I've seen too many videos. And I will not fly Frontier, because generally I'm trying to get out to get somewhere, and I don't want any drama when I'm trying to get out. But since I'm here, yes, I've used them all the budget carriers. I've done Scout, Air Asia, Thai Air. Ali, what are some other ones that are over here?
Oh, Bangkok Air, because they got the run on all of Thailand, and they're pretty inexpensive. I use Air Asia all the time for everything. Did you use Scout when you were going to Singapore from Vietnam?
Yep, sure did. Okay. I was on that little run. Yep.
And it was what, $20? It was like $20, wasn't it?
I don't think I ever, while I was doing the bump around, I never paid more than $99. I don't care where I was going, whether it was going to the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, the flights. Once you get to the region, that's the beauty of this form of travel, Slomading, taking your time. You find a little home base, and then you satellite out for $49. Yeah.
Right. And Katrina, to maybe help answer the question a little bit better, I use a platform to search for my to at least get a baseline of what the ticket prices are going to be. Let's see if I can bring myself back in here. And I use skyscanner.com. I can type it in the comments for you guys. Skyscanner is one that searches all airlines and gives you like the best deals. The one airline that you will never find on there is Southwest. So if you want Southwest, you got to go on Southwest site separately, but Southwest doesn't fly to Asia. So that you won't have that issue. But skyscanner.com, I use that as a base. And then what I'll do is I'll go and book directly on the airline site, just for safety reasons, from, in terms of not using third parties and stuff like that. Plus, it's usually just cheaper to go right on the airline site direct. So I just use it as a guide. I use Google Flights. Google Flights is more than Skyscanner. And I also use Hopper, but I use one other one, but those are the three main that I use to kind of look to see what other airlines, because like Sondra said, they're literally, y'all, when y'all get over to Europe and Asia, there are airlines you ain't never heard. Fuji, Fiji, PG, all kinds of stuff over there, and you might turn your nose like, oh, I ain't never heard of it. You won't hear of it, but I'm sure it's like perfect. The service is usually excellent, so unless the door is falling off, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Look, Ali, you said it. I think I flew Cebu. Listen, I'm telling. Did you fly Cebu?
Yeah, and Pegasus, all of that.
Cleanest plane I ever been on in my life. I was like, did you all just roll this off the showroom floor? Clean. I mean, the service was great. Someone asked, which country has the biggest airport so you can hop around other Southeast Asian countries with ease? I will tell you, here's some places. We'll start this way. I think as you're entering Southeast Asia, many of you will come through Doha. If you're not routed through Doha, route yourself through Doha. First of all, is that airport not? That airport is the stuff. Everybody needs to see it. Doha also has like this extended layover that you can do. You get like a free trip. You get free pass. Is it 48 hours, 72 hours? It's something like that.
You got to have a layover that's longer than 8 hours, less than 24. They will put you up in their hotel for free overnight. You get the lounge access. You get everything. Let me tell you, I'm flying through Doha in a week, and I have 1 hour layover. I almost rebooked my flight just so I could have a 19-hour layover and get the free stuff at Doha. Y'all, let me tell you, all of their lounges are the joint, and you got to go see the big bear. You have to go see the big bear.
You got to take a picture in front of the big yellow bear. You'll see him right as you come down off of the escalator. So Doha for sure. Yes. If you aren't routed through Doha, see if you can route yourself through Doha. So that's like usually on your entry or your exit. Mm-hmm. And then I would say an airport that I enjoy. I enjoy Kuala Lumpur's airport in terms of, yes, it's an international airport. Bangkok, of course, is an international airport that's big. If you're going to the mainland, I'm sorry, Incheon in South Korea, that airport is gorgeous. These are award-winning. I don't know about Bangkok being award-winning, BKK, but Doha is an award-winning airport. Incheon is an award-winning airport. And we're not talking about Japan, but Japan's airports are gorgeous. Hanada, and I don't know the other one. You remember the other one?
Yeah. Instead of flying direct to Tokyo, flying to NRT. Yeah. Smooth sailing. But take the train over and you'll love it. Yeah.
So there are those are some of the airports, but I haven't had any problem. Chiang Mai it's a smaller airport, but it's an international airport, and I didn't have any problem getting in and out. Singapore's airport is gorgeous. It's a little further to the south. And, we talked about that. We talked about in terms of from least expensive to most expensive. Singapore is the most expensive. Singapore is expensive for no reason at all. You have heard me say that 1,000 times before. I think you should see it, but it's not where you go to stretch your travel dollars. I think you should go peek in, spend some time in the airport and some of those luxury malls and get the heck up out of there and get to the rest of Southeast Asia, because Singapore is expensive for no reason at all.
Yeah. Doesn't Singapore offer the day trips if you have long layovers?
Yes, you all, we did a couple videos back where we listed all of the airports in the region that do the long layover. So I will try to connect that video. So if you're interested in taking advantage of, like if you have a long layover, there are several airports that offer that benefit. Marilyn might know what video it was. I want to say it was the video 12 countries in 1 year, that video. Check it out. And I listed, at least six or seven different airports that offer that as a benefit. You want to take advantage of that because it's like a free vacation.
Yeah.
It's like
Korea does it too. That was the other one. I remember you go down and they have a little kiosk and you just sign up for tours while you are on a layover, and they're free. They're free tours around the city to historical sites from anywhere from 4 hours to 8 hours, as long as you have an exiting flight within that time frame from the airport, you can go on free tours.
Yeah, Singapore's airport, somebody said it, Singapore's airport is a destination in itself. It is gorgeous, y'all. These are some beautiful, well done. It's like who said it? It's like a shopping mall where airplanes land. I'm sorry, planes land at this mall. That is like that. Kuala Lumpur's airport is beautiful. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. I haven't had any trouble getting in and out of any of those airports. They're all major international airports. They all provide service to neighboring countries. I can't think of one airport where I had any trouble getting in and out of. I did not enjoy the airport in Cambodia. Let's just say I did not enjoy that airport. It felt very militarized.
I was going to say, is there some notables? Because I haven't been to Cambodia yet.
It felt very militarized. Make sure that your phone camera is off, because they do not play about that security when you're coming through. And possibly photographing immigration agents and that stuff. Yeah, I got a rude awakening. He said, is that, yeah, they took my phone. They actually took my phone and told me to erase. Yes, so be careful. But I think that's a rule whenever you're coming through immigration. They don't want you taking pictures
Yeah.
of immigration officers. So always be aware. Make sure your phone is off. You want to follow the rules. You don't want somebody accosting you like I got accosted, because I was shook up. They shook me up. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not coming back. You have to worry about, they were rough. He was like, no, please, no, thank you. He said, give me that phone. I said, well, sir, you don't have to ask me twice. You don't have to talk rough to me. You can hack it. So
Right,
be careful with that.
we're not trying to go to jail in any country. We ain't trying to go to jail in our own country, let alone somewhere across the world.
None. Katrina says, is a long layover the same as a stopover? I think they use different language. Some people call it a stopover.
So
What's your thoughts, Ali?
Yeah, I think when I hear people say stopover, it's like you're leaving the airport. And so you're popping in somewhere, you're gonna do the day tours or whatever. When I say layover, or as I've spoken about it in my circles, a layover is literally where you don't plan on leaving the airport. You're laying over, you're literally just sitting in the airport until your next flight. Or a lot of times, there's a couple of airlines that don't even allow you to stay in the airport like overnight. So let's say your flight lands at 11 and your next flight isn't until 5 a.m. the first flight out. There are some airlines, I've started as of last year, I started actually Googling airports that have sleeping areas or hotels built into the airport, so you don't actually have to leave and check back in. So that's another thing, another conversation for another day. But those types of layovers, sometimes when you know you're going to be somewhere for 4 hours, finding a hourly hotel within the airport is fantastic, because usually it's inexpensive unless you go somewhere in Europe, and then it's like $250 a night, and you don't want that.
Yeah, I'm just scanning to see, did I miss anybody's question? If I missed your question, trust me, it's just an oversight. Put QQQ in front of your question and roll it through the chat again, and I'll try to catch it. Okay, Ali, I don't know. We gave them a whole bunch of good information about visas, airports. Anything else you want to say about cost of living in Vietnam? I gave you guys the list of least expensive to most expensive countries. Also, in the description box, I listed for Bali 3 places that I stayed. One, a budget accommodation, which was $23 a night, a mid-range, beautiful villa, private pool villa that was less than $200 a night. It was like $150 or something a night. And then I listed a luxury hotel that I stayed at, which was $400 a night. So when I tell you there's something for every budget, especially if you're traveling as a tourist, there's something for every budget. And I know the same is true for Da Nang, because I stayed in Da Nang. I did the exact same thing. I did a low budget, not a low budget, but a reasonably priced. And then I did a moderately priced, and then a luxury stay as well. You got any favorites, Ali, in Da Nang? Any places that are your favorite?
So my 2 places I did, Da Nang actually, and you say Da Nang, I say Da Nang, potato. Da Nang. I did a couple because I was there for 6 months, so I actually had an apartment. I had an apartment at least for 6 months, and I was paying for a loft, full everything covered except my electric which was about $30 a month. I was paying $306 a month USD for my apartment. But a couple of places along the coast in Da Nang, they actually have our 5-star hotels. So they have 4 Seasons, they have Intercontinental, they have, what's the other one? Not the Sofitel. They have a Holiday Inn, some things like that, but they also do day passes. So the Intercontinental is exceptional. Sondra, did you ever go to that one on the hill with the lady?
I went there, but I didn't stay there. I stayed at another resort called Tia. So I did exactly like you did. I didn't stay in one place. And when I go back, Ali, I think I am going to stay longer and get an apartment
Okay.
because I love Da Nang. I love it. It's a beautiful beach town. Oh my God. Oh my God. Table Mountain, Monkey Mountain. That's where, if you all haven't been, that's where you go to the Golden Bridge. Is that the name? It's Golden Bridge with the hands. And then you go see Dragon Bridge. I'm telling y'all, Vietnam is gorgeous. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite countries. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
countries.
So I don't have like, so I ended up staying in, I think I stayed in 3 apartments. So I have a perception about different locations, the touristy area, as opposed to being a little bit inland. I was closer to the bridge for my long term. And then I also stayed right on the beach when I came. So I popped back in and surprised all my friends and fam there for a couple of days because I had to border hop from wherever else I was. I can't even remember where I was that I had to border hop from. So I went back to Vietnam. Y'all, I paid for a $25 visa to go back to Vietnam for 2 days because I love the people there so much, so it was worth it, but yeah, so there's a couple places and I can share. I don't have them listed right now because there are a couple of apartments, and when you're walking along like you street walk when you find your places. That's one of the things that make it one of the things I will say about Vietnam, when you're apartment hunting, not street walking, but street walking to find good deals and find people who are doing rentals. But one of the other notations is you'll find studios and then 2 bedrooms. They're not really big on like official true 1-bedroom apartments that have a bedroom in a closed room and then a living room outside. They either have like studios and then they have 2 bedrooms. They do have a few 1-bedrooms in there, but they go so fast, nobody ever has them for rent or they're super expensive. So just a little side note for you guys. Sometimes it's just better to ramp up and go for the 2-bedroom, especially if you're going to be there for a month or 2.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of long-term stay in Bali, what I found in most of these places, you can find something at every budget range. So for Bali, we're talking about maybe a budget place to stay monthly. You're looking at between $300 and $500. Again, Bali is not as inexpensive as it used to be. A moderate apartment might run you anywhere from $600 to $1,000. And if you want to go for the luxury villa, trust me, they are there, and they can run anywhere from $1,500 a month to $3,000 a month. I didn't stay long term like that in Bali. I bumped around to between homestays and hotels. And so when I say to you, you can find anything at any budget. All you got to do, is look. And let me just give you utilities. Electricity between $50 and $100 a month. Water can run you between $5 and $10 a month. And internet between $20 and $50 a month. And then you have to have trash. You pay for your trash to be picked up, and it runs about $10 a month. And if you're using gas for cooking, it's about $10 a month as well. Still way more reasonable than the US, but not nearly as price friendly or budget friendly as Vietnam is. And so New Life Creator says, yeah, Tia Resort is beautiful. Ali, if you have not been to Tia Resort in Da Nang, girl, put it on your list. They treat you good. They treat you good. Katrina wants to know what Vietnam Bali city has lots of expats, Black expats, and English-speaking expats. I would say Ubud for sure. If you're talking about Bali, yeah, for sure. That's where you're going to find the concentration of most expats in Ubud. But you can also find the Kuta. I don't know about Denver. Yeah, Uluwatu,
yeah.
If you want to be on the beach, but those 3. What about Vietnam?
Da Nang, we have an area. They got a sign built that says it's called Mayan. It's tourist area. It's on the sign. That's where you'll see all the people who speak English. You'll have all your Australians. You got Russians. So you find a lot of Russians in Vietnam, and they are fantastic. They are amazing people. I have a blast with all the ones that I've met. But many are English speaking because they're in that expat area, and people from all over. So Da Nang is one. Ho Chi Minh is by far one city that when you get there, you wouldn't think that it is has a big expat community. And it's just because of how it's a city. Like it's a real city. And you have to find groups. And that's actually where you're going to find the highest concentration of Black expats, at least in terms of where there's communities already set up. Because there's a number of groups on Facebook. One is Flex Black and Fex Black, FEXBLACK. And it was started by a woman. I think she's been there for 6 years now, and she started this community in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, and there's quite a few other ones as well. But when I was looking up Black expats or just Black community in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City was the city that kept coming up. Hanoi, it's hard to find. People are there, but there's not a real nucleus that you can find where people are, going on events and things like that very often. Da Nang has some. We're scarce, but we are there. But English speaking, yes, you'll find us all over the 3 largest cities in Vietnam: and Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh City.
And does Vietnam have night markets like Thailand, Malaysia, and Philippines?
Yes, I lived around the corner from one. They had it every single night. Let me tell you guys, I could literally go. I was eating. It don't make no sense, these markets. And so, yes, there's in Vietnam, there's pop-up night markets. And there was a night market. If you go to Vietnam, you have to go and see the Dragon Bridge. You drive across it every day, or you see it every day. And every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the dragon comes to life. And right next to the Dragon Bridge is a daily night market that starts at around 5, maybe 6 p.m. It's kind of when it starts getting dark. And it goes until I think 11 p.m. And it was every single night. You can get all your food, all your drinks. They have all the clothes. It was a craft, clothing, and food market every single night of the week.
And they have the most delicious, low price seafood. Girl, there were lobsters, crabs. What is the other one? Squid. Oh my God. I'm talking about trays. Yeah. Trays of seafood. So if you're a seafood lover, definitely that very market right underneath. It's almost under the bridge, but it's like at the, you can't miss it. You'll see all the lights, especially if you go at night, you'll see all the lights. Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. So wait a minute. Let me see, because we got a couple questions. Okay. I'm going to take the beach question first, and then we'll go to the dating, because then we'll get into the social thing. So someone wants to know which area is the best beach area in Vietnam. Ali, you go first, and then I'll tell mine.
Okay. So I spent most of my time in Da Nang. So I'm going to say around the area of Da Nang, but there is in Hoi An, there is a smaller community, smaller city, about 25 minutes south of Da Nang. That is probably where you want to be the most. But Da Nang actually has really beautiful beach, really I guess people prefer like the areas where you have a lot of sand, because they play beach volleyball. They have all the sports and stuff on the beach. So they have really, really nice beaches. And then they have all of their, what do we call it? Like resort style seating. You can find that all along the beach. It's not really cramped. So you've got space in between. Da Nang is one of the easiest, I would say, if you're going to go somewhere and you don't want to be secluded. Da Nang is perfect for that. Beautiful beach, beautiful activities, all that kind of stuff.
Isn't it? You nailed it. And it's not in terms of a short beach, like from the sand to the water, there is space. You can stretch out. Mm-hmm. That is one of the nicest beaches, and it's so affordable. You can get hotels right there across the street. I was near Mykim. I think it's MYKH. Anyway, you got it. That's it. Mykim Beach. Oh my God. You can eat on the beach, drinks on the beach. I'm telling you, you can live a good life in Da Nang. I'm telling you, that's where your travel dollars gonna go. We're not steering you wrong. Somebody wants to know too, did either of you get clothes made in Vietnam? Y'all know I did. I wear my dresses still all the time. There were 2 tailors I used, 5 stitches, and then Milan. Milan I went to for linen things. That's my favorite. They have master cutters, and the turnaround time was, just phenomenal. They even will deliver to your hotel. I liked 5 stitches. They got great cutters. The customer service, I don't know. I think 5 stitches is getting so busy that the customer service was a little lacking, but I love those 2. Did you get clothes made in Vietnam, Ali?
Listen, I did not. I did go and buy some stuff at the city market a couple of times, and because I'm a backpacker, so I ain't got no space, and I wanted to actually go to Hoi An and get some things made, but when I go back, I plan to get some. So you'll have to give me your links.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some are better. I went to 4, and 2 of them I did not even mention because the ones that I liked.
Were they in Da Nang, or did you go to Hoi An?
You go to go to Hoi An, right outside of Da Nang. Hoi An, Hanan. Yes, y'all know what we're talking about. Those 2 cities are so close together. You can take a taxi. It's about a taxi ride away, maybe 20 minutes tops apart. But you want to talk about, I think Hoi An is called the Ancient City. Gorgeous, gorgeous lanterns at night. You just got to go see it. It's beautiful. And I think from there, I took a side trip to the pineapple farm where they do the spinning little boat thing. You've seen that.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Did you do it?
I did it. Can you believe, girl? Yes, I did it all. I did. I was sick as it was not good. It was not a pretty sight. So I would say go, but don't let them spin you in that boat because that is insane. But that's where we got the clothes made, and the clothes were all reasonably priced. I know for a fact I didn't spend more than $25 for any garment that I had made. Oh, I did have a silk dress made. That was a little bit more, but it wasn't worth talking about. I haven't even worn it. It was not as well cut as the other 2. So yes.
Let me tell you this, y'all. They don't just do clothes. I have a friend I think she's back there now. She actually had a trench coat made, like custom. It was black with a felt pink, like fuchsia pink inside, and all beautifully made. And I can't remember how much she paid, but it was less than $50 for this full trench stitched, beautiful, almost, I call it a petticoat, but it wasn't. It was more like a trench coat.
Yeah.
So they do everything.
And I did have Michelle made a comment. She says, it seems to me that English speakers have a much easier time in Southeast Asia versus, say, native speakers like French, if you're in France or Spain. I had no problem, because of course I don't know any Vietnamese and I don't know any, I think the language in Bali is Basa. I don't know any of those. I had no trouble navigating either country. How about you, Ali?
Yep, none whatsoever. So they're very accommodating, and most of the world is very accommodating to English, especially American English, because that is the benchmark for most people or schools that actually teach English. So even in communities where English is like the third language that they're speaking, fourth language that they're speaking, people do so much to try to help, or even if they think you're speaking the language. Have you ever gone to a bar and you're trying to order something, and then the bartender wants to talk to you all night because now they want to practice their English? That was like everywhere I went. And so it's like, okay, you learn a little bit, you share a little bit as well. And so it's fantastic. But yeah, I had no issues in either place with, even when I couldn't communicate. But in the markets, everything is I call them the aunties. When you shop it.
Yes. Don't you love a good Vietnamese auntie? Oh my goodness, she's gonna feed you.
Wait, and then when they talk about your weight, when they say, "Oh, one size fit all," and then she look at your behind and say, "Ooh, ooh," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, auntie, wait a minute."
Oh my God, that is also true. You all got to get there. I'm telling you. But for most of the Exodus sisters, you all know that we're planning we're planning. I plan to be there in February. There's a mini meetup. I don't have the details. Check with the ladies in the chat. They know way more than me. I just know to be on the ready in February to show up in Vietnam. I'm just waiting for them to tell me where to stand because I will be there. That's going to be a good time. Black women and Vietnamese aunties in Vietnam in February. A good time, I tell you. So sign up, find out, ask. I think Abla might know. Somebody else in the chat, find out. Global Granny Anita says that they had purses and shoes made. Yes, you can get purses made, good leather in Hoi An. Put it on your list, ladies. Put it on your list. Okay, I think we talked enough about that. The next thing up, somebody put the question in inevitably. How's the dating scene? I'm gonna tell you this. Look, Ali is the dater in the bunch. I'll be sitting on the side of my bed waiting for Jesus. I'm like, we're gonna wait for Jesus. Ali, every time I see Ali, she is bouncing on somebody's boat, baby. So I'm gonna let Ali take over, and then I'll tell you what my take is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so so we're gonna speak about Vietnam specifically. All right, so ladies, I know the community that we have it looks like mostly brown, black sisters in here. One of the things I'm going to say, and Sondra and I have talked about this in long detail, is that, one of the things, I'm just going to come out, if you're open, dating is easy.
Yep. If
you're open, and by no means do I mean you need a frog. You're gonna meet a frog. No. And I'm not saying to change any of your beliefs or what you're looking for, what your list is, or anything like that. I'm not saying that. So one of the things, since we already talked about Black communities in these places, Vietnam is limited in Da Nang and Hanoi. But not in Ho Chi Minh City. But Ho Chi Minh City, to me, it's one of those places I wouldn't necessarily want to live, but it is a city. And so everybody goes there. So I think you have a better opportunity for dating there just because there is a mix of so many people, so many business opportunities. There's lots of job offerings and things like you'll see all kinds of things and they hire foreigners. So that city in and of itself, I think it's easier to date. If you're open and you're open to different cultures, different types of people and things like that, because I feel like Vietnam is such an English speaking country in and of itself, I think that it becomes easier to date. I'm not saying you getting quality. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what Sondra asked me. She's saying
there are men there. There are eligible men there. It's boys there.
Yeah, and I will tell you guys, I did get put on this years and years ago. I didn't do it, and once I left, I want to say Korea, a girl that I met there that we still hang out with, and she was like, Ali, get on Bumble. Y'all, I will tell you, while you have to screen through things, women control the atmosphere and the environment and how you date on Bumble. So you can use it and set it for the exact city that you're in and find dating opportunities that way. Now, if you're looking for a specific type and you want them to be an American man, I haven't found very many American Black men in Vietnam. I'm just going to be on the real. They're probably more in Ho Chi Minh City, but definitely not in Da Nang. I'm just going to keep it real. In Thailand, yes, you'll find them, but they're not looking for us. That was my experience. They cool as all get out. Like they dope everything, right? But a lot of times that's not the case. So you do, if you're wanting to kind of explore in that area and you're looking for kind of an authentic experience of, just being in a companionship and things like that, being open, you're going to find it, and you'll find those boat rides.
Y'all check Ali out. I'm telling you, just go check out her Instagram. Go check out her YouTube channel. Check her out on Facebook. You'll see Ali's been living a fabulous life, honey. Fabulous. I can tell you, when I was in Bali, I'm gonna say this: Bali is an island, and so that in itself is a different culture. I didn't see a lot of interracial dating. More than likely, if you're in Bali, you're going to be dating maybe other tourists, other visitors, of course. I not didn't see any. I didn't see none. I did not see one Balinese man not hooked up with a black woman with a, little Balinese and black baby. I didn't see that at all. And I don't know if that's a cultural thing. That doesn't say that they won't date you. I don't know that marriage is one of those things. Now, of course, you can fall in love. Anybody can fall in love with anybody anywhere. But it wasn't what I didn't see a prevalence of that. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see a bunch of Balinese men dating anybody other than Balinese women. I mean, married to, I should make that distinction, married to anybody. More than likely, I saw Balinese women married maybe to a Caucasian man, but not the other way around. I did see lots of, and we're talking about separate from Balinese people, but in terms of tourists and long term, let's see, I don't like that term expat either. Immigrants, people, world travelers, you'll see them, they're dating. Yeah, they're dating all the time. So I'm with Ali. If you're open, oh, there's no shortage. And I will say this, I don't even think that there's an age limit. I think people who travel have way more open minds. They are just open minded. And for me, it always starts in a coffee shop over conversation. I met a dude in a pizza place who gave me some of the best travel tips. He was from California. We started up a conversation over a pizza. I was like, oh, well, hey, to you too, sir. What you about to do in Bali? Who would have ever thought it? But you do have to have an open mind. You can't sit like this in a cafe with your face in a book and think. You have to be and smile. It's all the things you would do in the States. You smile, you talk to people. I don't ever go out with the intention of like I'm out here looking for a man. But it happens. And more often than not, I would say not so much here for me in Thailand, but in Bali, I had no trouble connecting with people. And I think maybe because so many people are coming and going, and I was out more. I haven't been out as much here, but yes, stay open. Smile, get outside, and be open, ladies. I'm telling you, folks are out here dating. Folks are hooking up now. If you got this, if that's your goal and your intention, set your intention and going outside.
Yeah, I will second the thing about marriage in the local community. I don't know that I saw a lot of that with the Vietnamese men, although I had a Vietnamese man come up to me and want me to, I don't know if he wanted me to be his sugar mama or if he was offering to be the sugar, I don't know. But you will see the women that gravitate to foreigners, which is a cultural thing that you'll see in a lot of Asia, especially in places where, especially Westerners have been present in terms of war and stuff like that. So they're accustomed to specifically our men and stuff, or Western men, I should say, not our men, but Western men traveling. So you'll see that a little bit more in a number of different places. But yeah, I was speaking more when I just wanted to clarify, because someone had asked me, I do videos on dating in different countries, and I know someone was like, something about Asian men, this and that. And I said, well, I wasn't talking about dating Asian men. I was talking about dating other travelers. And because for me, I'll say this to you guys, I'm not looking to bring anybody up or, convince someone of my lifestyle or anything like that. I find commonality in people who have common things with me. And so when you are around people who don't actually have passports or they don't travel, we're not going to have, true continuity and stuff like that. So when I am out dating or I've opened up that door, it typically would be with someone who is traveling similar to myself. So oftentimes I'm speaking about the travel community.
Yeah, I think that's where your biggest dating pool is going to come from, because
unless you're in Europe, I will say.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different ball game. I just find Southeast Asia too, because like when I was in Japan, not that they don't date outside their race, but when folks get ready to marry, I think that family tradition, that whole pressure of the family is a real factor. Like we don't really experience as much in the US,
Right.
but they mean that thing when they try to keep it tight. They try to keep it tight. So, but
Mhm.
you will definitely, if you're open-minded, you're gonna find travelers that are looking to, single and looking to mingle. All right. So we talked about the dating scene. The next thing up is health insurance, which is always, I'm gonna tell you my take on it because I don't know. I don't think anybody should leave their home country without some insurance already in place. I think somebody posed this question to me, and I'll tell you why I'm coming at it this way. Someone asked me, can you get national insurance when you get to Bali or Thailand? And I'm going to say, from what I understand, and I'll read to you because I don't, I'm no health expert in Bali, but I'll read to you what I've got. But here's what I would say as a traveler. Please, before you leave home, minimally make sure you have travel insurance because anything can happen. And many travel insurance companies will not only cover lost luggage and if something happens with your ticket and accommodations, but if you're hurt or if you need to be what's the word? What's that word? Repatriated. If you have to have something terrible happens and they got to get you back to the States, you don't want to be over in somebody's foreign country trying to figure that out. You want to have that figured out before you get off the sofa. So I would say minimally for me, and my story is never going to change. I use Safety Wings. Safety Wings has 2 different programs. They have like full on health insurance. It's a little pricey. Then they have travel insurance that has like a health benefit where they'll reimburse you. So something happens, you got to go to the doctor. You pay up front, they'll reimburse you. So it's not like you get doctor's visits. You can't go get eyeglasses with this insurance. You can't go get your teeth fixed. You can't go get a hearing test. None of that. But if something happens and you have to be hospitalized, make sure you read the plan because I have this plan and it is, I won't call it restrictive, but they got some rules about what they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover. I think everybody should have that, at least minimally. Now, if you're talking about living in a place long-term, that's different. Some countries like Mexico offers, if you're a resident, you can get Mexican insurance there. In Bali, I'll tell you what information I was able to find. It says, private international health insurance is highly recommended for expats. I don't think that you can go to Bali, and I'm going to say think, because I couldn't find anything that said that you could purchase or buy Balinese health insurance while you're there. That don't mean it don't happen, y'all. But I'm going to tell you what I read. It said that they recommend very highly that expats provide their own comprehensive coverage, including evacuation if necessary. And some popular providers are Alliance, Cigna, and I know Safety Wings does it. So those are 3 that I know. And that's all I know about healthcare. Although, it's inexpensive. It's just like the rest of the countries in Southeast Asia. If you go, prices are really reasonable. A lot of people pay out of their pocket. So if you want to, I don't know that Bali is known for medical tourism, more like Thailand, the places to go for medical tourism. I don't know that Bali is known for medical tourism, but they sure got some health and wellness. And that's my little spiel. Ali, what do you have for the good folks on health insurance and healthcare in Vietnam?
So I took some notes on it too, because I did not get into any medical tourism when I was in Vietnam, but I do plan on getting something done when I go back because I have a good friend who's from Canada who lives there who got a procedure done that cost about $250 as opposed to coming into the States and paying $1,000 minimum. But anyway, they do have a couple of variations, or I should say options. They have the National Health Registry, which is kind of open for anybody who wants to register, and it's like their public system. So you register, which means that you don't just walk in and you get served. It's you walk in and your name kind of goes on a list based on what you need. And if you can wait, that's fine. And it's obviously cheaper. Then you can purchase private insurance via Vietnam. They have some sites on their government site as well, and you can Google and get some of the information. And then there's also a they also suggest that you use, as Sondra mentioned, your home country insurance and then travel insurance as a secondary, so on and so forth. So just some statistics about Vietnam. As of 2023, they have 1,531 hospitals. So you know how a lot of places you go to, they're like when you go to Belize, like if you go to Key Conquer, they got they got one hospital, two cemeteries. And they tell you to go slow because there's one hospital, so take your time, right? And they said of those 1,500, 86% of them are public. So they do cater to their citizens and making sure that people are covered. They also have programs where the government actually funds and pays for coverage for certain types of ailments or people depending on their age and things like that. So they have all of that depending on which group you fall in. And then of course, private hospitals cater to Western standards. So if you're thinking you're wanting to go to the hospital and you want it to have, the walls that have the TV stuff on them, when you want, these hospitals nowadays in the US are off the chain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, if you're looking for that type of experience, they do have them. They're private. So you just need to pay for private coverage insurance in Vietnam. And apparently that is available. And Ho Chi Minh City has the best international hospital, according to this site that I was on.
All right. And Ho Chi Minh, I think you said it. Ho Chi Minh City is a real city. Yeah. It was given definitely Chicago, New York City vibes, baby. They are moving fast. So I'm not surprised at all that they have top flight amenities in Ho Chi Minh City. Not surprised at all.
Yeah.
Hold tight. Wait a minute. We got hold tight. Let me get them. Somebody in the chat cutting up. Somebody in the chat cutting up. Gotcha. Somebody said somebody need to chill. Ooh. Oh yeah, somebody got removed out the chat. Don't come over here clowning because Maryland is quick. Maryland will get you quick. Don't come over here cutting up, saying inappropriate.
You get on them live ones and these people pop in here acting crazy sometimes. I get it all the time. I'm like, delete.
Yeah, you gonna get it. We run a family show over here. Yes, a troll. So Maryland has dropped some information in the chat as well for information about healthcare. But of course, like we said, be prepared. You don't want to go and just like leave it to chance, even though healthcare in both of these countries on a pay-as-you-go are quite reasonably priced. Someone, I think Katrina asked the question, did you have an opportunity to receive services? I did. I got sick when I was in Bali and I didn't go to a hospital. It's like a pharmacy, but the doctor, people get sick and you got tourists coming and going. It was literally off the street. There was a doctor on site. Right next door was a pharmacy. You go in, it wasn't top flight, but they took care of me. It was enough for me. I paid out of pocket. I want to say, I don't even know that I paid $35 to see the doctor. I could tell y'all what happened. Girl, look, something either... I'm just gonna call it. I think I got the cooties. Something bit my legs up. I'm not kidding. My legs were itching. I was like, okay, this is not normal. Yes, it was all, whatever it was, I think, and I will say this, okay, since we full disclosure, be careful. Y'all know I love a good massage. But you cannot get a massage everywhere. I went into a place and I felt like it was a little sketchy. I wanted to say, ma'am, did you change this sheet? But I didn't. And I promise you, when I got home back to my place, I was a little itchy, scratchy. I was like, see, I should have followed my first mind. I should have turned around. So let me give you this one for free. Of course, everybody raves about Balinese, Thai, all of the, reasonably priced massages that you can get. Y'all, do me a favor. check the place out first. Here's the way I do it now. I go in, I say, can I see the place? Can I see the room where you're going to be administering this massage? And if it don't look kosher, now I turn around. I go out. I no longer feel obligated that once I paid to go in, I don't do it that way anymore, because I'm telling y'all, I know it was something on that thing. I can't prove it. But they had to give me some cream for either the bites or whatever it was. Yes. And so I went to this little doctor. It was right off the strip in Bali and right next door. Everything was right there, self-contained. He looked at it. He said, oh yeah, looked like you got something. Gave me some cream to put on my legs, blah, 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 blah. But y'all be on the lookout, because all massage parlors are not created equal. And it is okay to ask to see first before, it's to see it before you actually go in. I do that now. Yes, I got the itchy scratches, girl. I got the doggone itchy scratches in my it happened just like I said. So, but again, it was reasonably priced. $35, everything, doctor visit, cream, everything in and out. So it was just inconvenient.
Yeah.
All right, Ali, anything else we need to say about healthcare?
Man, no, just, if you have some particulars and things like that, follow your first instinct, because when you're in a foreign country, especially that far away, you want to feel like you're not in a I told myself so kind of space when something happens. I am a kind of in-between person where I'll get traveler's insurance sometimes. It depends on how far I'm flying. But for the most part, depending on where I am, I mean, I've been gone for almost 5 years now, in and out. And I don't carry US insurance full time. I will say that. Like, I stopped carrying it full time after a while because I wasn't coming back. And the price, to walk in, because I haven't had any, knock on
wood. Knock on wood.
Things that I couldn't just deal with by walking. And I mean everything, even from picking up contacts, getting glasses, to, haven't had anything serious. I was just traveling with my grandson and we had to go into a pharmacy. And I will tell you, one of the things I notice about pharmacies around the world, because they're not combined in, big department stores or separate one-offs, a lot of times they even have a little sitting area where you can walk up and tell them what your issue is, and they'll do kind of a diagnostic for you right there. You don't even have to go to a hospital. So, take that, keep those, unless you have a pre-existing condition and your medication, you might think that it is like something that you can't get. It probably is something you can get abroad before you can get it in the US. Certain medications that I know for certain you can get in different places, especially Mexico, and you can't get it in the US. And it is the real thing. But we just don't make it available in the US because it needs to be tied to some big money laundering. Anyway, next.
Come on. Right. Tell the whole truth. Yes, indeed. And they make it so much easier. The barrier of entry to get care is so much easier to navigate. Many times, and I've seen it in Mexico, I've seen it in Japan, where the pharmacy, there's usually maybe a doctor or a nurse, somebody who's on duty who can diagnose you right there. Now, of course, they can't diagnose you if it's some, major, but if you come in with the scratchies, they got you. And then you can get your I didn't have to have a prescription, none of that foolishness, leave, go, none of that. Everything right there, in and out in an hour. They treat you like people. They talk to you, make eye contact. It was a whole vibe, a whole experience. It was inconvenient, but I felt well cared for, and I didn't feel like I got ripped off. And I found that that's the case in many places around the world. So we have talked about healthcare. Ali, the only thing we didn't talk about, and we touched on it, was transportation. So I just want to give people one more time before we get out of here, the apps that you use and that we use to get around, because we did hit on it. So in Vietnam, what are they using?
Uber and Grab, but primarily Grab. And y'all, I was gonna say Bajaji, but that's Tanzania. A moped scooter ride on Uber is like $2 almost anywhere in the city in Da Nang. So once you brace yourself and you feel comfortable, and one of the things I will tell you, a friend of mine that I met there, she brought her own helmet, so that because when you do Grab, they give you a helmet, and that means everybody's wearing this helmet. Okay, so she literally would go around with her helmet, and if she couldn't walk back home because we were out late or whatever, she would just call a Grab and she'd put on her own helmet. So that's a little thing. But Grab in Vietnam, you like I said, Uber I believe was available when I was there. Didi is also available, and they actually have one other one. Oh, Panda you could use in Vietnam. And guys, these are for not just for transportation, but they also have food, grocery delivery, all of that as well.
Good point about the helmet. I saw the same thing in Bali. So in Bali, you're going to have Grab and GoJet. Those were the two that I saw. I can't think of, those are the two that I used. And the same was true if you're hopping on the back of a bike, they're going to give you a helmet and you don't want that helmet. So generally you can buy them too there and they aren't that expensive. So great, good save, Ali, because I forgot about that helmet thing. I got caught. I wore one. I was like, ooh, that's probably how I got the itchy scratchies. Girl, I was living La Vida Loca.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys one other one that a friend gave me when I was there. So let's say, like Sondra was talking about, just hopping on a taxi or whatever to Hoi An or Dalat or something like that. They have something called Book Away, and it's their what we call in Mexico colectivos. It's something like that, and they have these small commuter vans that take you for like $6 to different places. So download bookaway.com, and it's not just in Vietnam. You can use it in almost any other country. So FYI.
Oh, thank you, Ali. This has been a wealth of information. I learn something every time I'm with you. So sister, thank you, because I didn't know about that Book Away. So I'm putting that away for myself for future reference. Ali, is there anything else you want to share? Listen, all of Ali's social media contacts are in the description box. They are also in the chat. Please check out her playlist on Vietnam. Ali offers a host of services. Would you tell the good people about your services, Ali?
I can. First, thank you guys so much for this participation in this chat. Y'all, first of all, some of y'all got me cracking up in here. I just read, Global Granny said, just get you a do-rag and wear it on your head. I love it, for real. You know, you can wear it around your neck and just boom, put it on, you know. But you guys have been fantastic. It's always exhilarating to talk to people who or be in a space where people are just genuinely interested in gaining more information and learning and getting out here, because I hope I run into some of y'all on these streets. So Sondra, thank you again for having me and having this fantastic conversation with me as we have our verses. I will tell you guys, even though Vietnam may have won on the cost effect, I don't care, you have to go to Bali.
You do.
You have to. And if you can go more than one time to Indonesia, there's a couple of other places. My friends that live there, my extended family that lives there, say that I have to go next time I visit Indonesia, go to some other cities and stuff as well. So don't knock it off your list, y'all, because Bali is beautiful. It's an amazing country, and the people are beautiful there as well. Oh, just FYI, that they're men, they can have 4 wives, for anybody that didn't know. So,
and wait a minute, Ali, wait a minute, are you talking about in Bali? And let's be clear, they are not shy. That's where a little fella got fresh. I was like, sir, I'm not that kind of traveler. Y'all, I know I told this story. It was in the video about the reasonably priced villas. And I told you I went to a funeral. I was walking, taking pictures, and we're out of here, y'all. I was in Bali, in Ubud. I was staying not in city center, but like on the outskirts. So I'm walking through fields, beautiful rice fields. Oh, y'all. Yeah, Bali must be on your list. And I'll tell you who would really love it. If you're interested in health, wholeness, yoga, I'm telling you, peace, tranquility, you gotta go. So, but I'm out. Ali, I'm taking pictures because I got to get these beautiful landscapes. And a guy walks up to me, and I'm telling you, I'll say this too. Balinese people are some of the nicest, most welcoming people. They will invite you into their homes. In Bali, I've gone to two funerals, a wedding, and a baby shower. I lie to you not. So I'm walking down the street. This guy accosts me. He's like, "Come with me." I'm like, "Come with you, sir? I would never do this in the States." I start walking with this man because I figure I'm pretty safe. I hear music playing off in the distance. He said, "I'm taking you home." I was like, I'm going to this man home. I would never do this in the US. I follow him. As a matter of fact, one of his relatives passed. We're going to a funeral, y'all. He took me to a Balinese funeral. When I tell you the women in the village fed me, the whole shebang. I stayed for the entire funeral. And something interesting, they don't bury. They actually there's a burning ceremony. So I stayed almost to the end and I needed to get back. Well, he wouldn't let me walk back. He said, "No, I'm taking you back." So I jump on the back of the bike of a total stranger I just met 30 minutes, like 2 hours ago. And we're riding back to the villa. So as I'm getting off the bike, why does he slap me on the back of my I lie to you not. He went I said, "Wait a minute, sir. I am not that kind of traveler." I'm not that kind of traveler. We laugh about it. He asked me for my number. I'm like, "No, we're good." He slaps me on my butt again. I said, "See, you've been watching too many videos, sir. You've been watching. You just want to see, does it really?" Yes, they really do. They really do bounce just like that. When I tell you, y'all, we laugh and joke about, are there dating opportunities? Yes. I think they'll date you now. They're going to marry you. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of that. But everybody likes chocolates, y'all. We're going to leave you with that. Everybody likes chocolate.
They
and
do.
that they do. I don't care what anybody says. So you all go out, see the world, go inside and play. Be open. If you're looking for companionship, be open, smile. You know what to do. Y'all know how to do it. I think that's all we got for today. Sister, you got anything else you want to leave them with?
You know what? I will answer the question you asked me before. You guys can find me on my linktree.com or it's linktree / where's Ali. And you guys, there I host a number of services. Like Sondra, I'm out here just trying to assist anybody who wants to start this journey. You want to get off the couch, get out the house, onto the train, bus, plane, boat, whatever, automobile, and start your own personal journey. I have a travel course out there. I assist people and guide people in kind of moving forward and figuring out how to do this. I have recently added traveling with a child for 2 months abroad, and I am a homeschool guidance. I don't know if I'm a counselor or what, but we did homeschooling for the 2 months that we were gone. So I've added that because now I have a wealth of kind of not just questions, but ways to do this and do it in a way that your kids can be on this journey with you. You don't have to wait until summer, which is the most expensive time to travel anyway. So just sharing information on that. And I also do teach health and wellness. I'm a certified yoga guide and wellness from a lifestyle transformation perspective. But you guys can find all that stuff on my Linktree. And I got a YouTube channel, so I'm out here and I love to hear from you guys and see you guys and check out what you guys are doing as well. But thanks again, Sondra.
Girl, thank you for joining me. You inspire me as always. So my next thing, Ali, I'm going to be getting in touch with you to get tips on how to travel with your grandchildren, because that's on my list too. So y'all check Ali out on all her channels and all of her social media platforms. You can find her at Where's Ali on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you all for spending your precious time, because I understand your time is precious and I appreciate you spending it with us. If this is your first time, I'm so glad you joined us. Do not forget, like, subscribe, and share the channel. Get over there to Ali's channel and show her some love. And we will see you all here next week. All right, folks. Take care, everybody.
Toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grease.